Hey everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, Sweet Street at Warners Bay, your Newcastle Honda marine dealer. Thursday, and what a great day. This morning here on the lake was absolutely glassed off. It's sort of funny at the moment, got a little bit of southeast. It's probably only around about 8 to 10 knots. It's going to swing this afternoon into the east-northeast and sort of get into 20. Tomorrow, again, east-northeast, and then we're going to see like a northerly, like northwest, northeast, Saturday, with a lunchtime southerly change at this stage predicted around about 20 knots on Sunday. Now, there is like a severe thunderstorm warning out for Saturday afternoon, guys, so just be aware of it if you're on the water. The big supermoon was last night, and it certainly was bright, that is for sure and certain. It's going to be probably the next couple of days. I reckon there's still a few fish to be had, but I always believe that around about 3 or 4 days after the full moon, the fishing will G back up. So we'll just have to see how that physically goes. I'm just looking at a few mullet jump straight behind Josh here at the moment. We'll start out wide, guys, and give you a bit of a heads up on what actually happened. Cracking fish off Port Stephens last weekend, 178 kilo blue marlin. The length was 286. It really, in condition, it would have been 220, 230 kilo easily. But a big blue marlin, I definitely know the Damo and his family actually, and well done too, I might add, and tails up. 110 kilo blue marlin off Swansea on 15. I know Sam Wilkins and his crew, 99 kilo striped marlin on 15 as well. So there was not lots of marlin. We talked about it last week. That big bite has sort of subsided, but individually, there are really good individual fish. And there's a lot of push coming down from Port Macquarie. And I've seen some reports from Port Macquarie last week. Dolphin fish, yellowfin, and striped marlin up off the port at the moment. So we're only a couple of weeks before that starts to push down. So I reckon out wide, well worth a go. I think you'll get out there Saturday, but I don't think Sunday is going to be good because of that, that 20 knot southerly going to kick right into gear. Prawns, well look, the full moon's rolled through. This time next week when we talk, we will be talking about that November run. Reports that there's a few around. I spoke to a few of the guys. They're already seeing prawns on the bottom now. So you can only imagine 7 to 10 days after the full moon. So next weekend will be perfect. And we'll talk a lot about that next week. I'm going to have a bit of a fish myself on Saturday afternoon late with my good mate Scotty Baxter. He's coming up and he's going to show me how to catch bass up in the mile. So I'm looking forward to that just prior to that the storm that's basically going to come through. And the bass reports that I've been getting, I spoke to Arthur, a good mate of ours from Wallsend. He was up at Glenbourne 3 weeks ago. Incredible fishing happening in the dams because of just how full the dams have been. Arthur was telling me average fish 38 to 45s, but lots, they caught over 70 bass and released, of course, during that period. But the group of guys that they're with, over 1,000 fish caught through that weekend, and again, released. Phenomenal bass fishing in the dams. So if you want to get up to the dams and have a look, Glenbourne in particular, been fishing very, very well. If you're going to get on the farm, look, I spoke to Bill, he sent me a text this week. No kings, we spoke about it again last week, no real kings. They've started to back off, which we'd expect, but some really good trag in that deeper water down off Moorhead. Those 65 to centimetre trag in that deep water. There will be a few reds there, guys, I understand that, but the kings have certainly backed off, but those bigger trag are well worth the effort. The inshore fishery, still really lazy, flathead, yes, and a few snapper and that, but you're going to need to work really, really hard. The water temperature on the beach, 20 degrees, so it's increased again just in this last week. It is now time to have a look and start chasing a few whiting. There's definitely going to be a few mulloway on the back of the full moon, so as if you can get a few lake squid and get up there, or a couple of big strip baits, fish for mulloway on those tides, because the beach itself will be really good this weekend, and there's not a lot of swell, so it allows the rock fishers to get down there early, and some really big tides. Tomorrow being Friday, a 10 o'clock high tide tomorrow, 2.08 metres on the back of this full moon. So Saturday, pretty much 11 o'clock, 2.06, with a 5:45 low tide on Saturday afternoon. Big tides the next 4 or 5 days, big high tides. Those big high tides are going to be perfect for the estuary. On the flats, a lot of whiting building up. Obviously tube worms down at New Age. You've got to get in early and give the guys a ring down there. But tubes definitely before the run. And once that prawn run kicks in next week, live prawns and the tubes, no doubt. But if you can get some of those live prawns, there's some really, really good quality whiting and brim on the flats. In throughout the lake, there's still a lot of flathead around, guys, but there's not a lot of big fish. A lot of fish 40s to 50s. We're going to need to see that moon now move back through, and I reckon once that prawn run starts, we'll then see an increase in a lot of those really good flathead in and around the edge. These flies are just starting to kill me down here at the moment. There's a lot of blue swimmer crabs in the lake, and I did notice this week a lot of pots out. So get out there and have a look. Let's say the water up here at Ellibana now, there's still a lot of water on the back of that tide. I've seen a few guys chasing the odd king down at the bridge. We haven't had any reports, but it's definitely worthwhile if you can get some of those live squid. And there's still some nice fish in the channel, like Swansea and that, trevally, some really nice bream, and of course, your whiting and flathead. The odd red in the lake, but I just think you've just got to mix it up a little bit. But just remembering those really big tides, I think the shallow water this weekend is really where it's at. And on Saturday, it's going to be very hot with that big storm. All in all, guys, I've got to get cracking. I've got to get up the mid-north coast this afternoon, start my fishing trip. I'll see you next week.